So I guess we're doing another coffee talk. I went to Dunkin' today. Got their $6 meal deal. I got my iced coffee, 1 pump of caramel because I don't like it too sweet. My little sandwich. Oh, great. Of course, I just spilled coffee down the front of myself. At least it blends in with my shirt. So, finding the positives today. So let's talk about spoons. By this point in time, I feel like everybody has heard of the whole like spoons, no spoons, whatever, in relation to the amount of energy we have. Sorry, I'm cleaning up my coffee mess because I realized it carried on as I moved the coffee. Looks like it just kind of went under the lip and spilled as I tipped it, and then proceeded to leak all over. Spoons. So there have been several of these, like, I don't know, influencers, if you will, talk about spoons in relation to bodily energy, mental energy. I'm gonna eat while we talk. And it's just a way to gauge how, in a visceral, tangible way, how much capacity you have left to carry out the tasks of your day, right? So, say you wake up one day and you feel like you got 10 spoons, you're feeling great. And I don't even know what, like, the going rate, the standard rate of spoons is for, like, feeling fully recharged, because God knows I haven't felt that in years, probably. But say you wake up and, you feel like you got 10 spoons and that's your max. And, you get through the morning as, let's just simplify it, a stay-at-home mom. Let's just eliminate the fact, like, work doesn't exist. Say you're blessed to be a stay-at-home mom, and that is your, your main thing. You gotta get up in the morning, and probably at a time earlier than you would like, that your brain and body would like, and you have to get up and roll right out of bed and be ready to tidy up, make breakfast, feed, clothe, prepare the kids for their school days, whatever, get them out of the house, and then you can reassess your spoons, right? Say that took, like, I don't know, let's say a good 3 out of you, because mornings, especially if you're not a morning person, takes a lot, right? So you're left with 7 spoons. So then, you prep for the rest of the day. Let's say you have to prepare for dinner, and you have to go pick up groceries, and you have to run an errand, picking up prescriptions. I feel like I'm always picking up prescriptions these days, which is crazy, because, like, we're like kind of an anti-big pharma family, but I have an asthmatic child, and we do need certain things, and I just feel like I am always running for asthma and allergy stuff. So we're getting, you got those. The next thing the kids are getting home from school, and which is always too early. I mean, I say this, whatever. It feels too early. Like, you just sent them out the door and now they're right back. So they get back home, and you have to unpack the backpacks and ask them how their day was, and figure out the homework plan, figure out if there's any projects due, talk about their behavior and all of that stuff. And that takes up, okay, so while they were gone, you probably spent another 2 spoons, so you're down to 5 spoons. They get home, it's about another spoon, just getting them in the door and unpacked and whatever. Now you talk about getting them off to their extracurricular stuff, which also requires special clothing, special gear, feeding them prior to, and usually this is before dinner even, so, you're doing all the other things. So that's another spoon, right? So now you're down to 4 spoons. Then it's dinner time, and then well, you pick them up from whatever thing. Oh, let's not forget socializing. So you bring them to the extracurriculars, right? And you gotta socialize with the other parents, right? Because that's what we do as extracurricular involved parents, is you gotta spend the time being social. And not that it's a bad thing, but say you're a person like myself who, isn't naturally outgoing, or suffers from some kind of anxiety or whatever. It's very, even if you're enjoying it, it still takes energy out of you, right? So what did I say? We were down to 4 spoons, blah, blah, blah. It zaps another spoon from you just for the socializing part of it. Then you get back home, you do the dinner stuff, and make sure all their dirty clothes or gear and stuff is all accounted for and put away and all of that stuff. That's another spoon. Make sure everybody gets all showered, complete the homework, make sure it's all in the bags for the next morning. Clothes are picked out, everything is, lunch is packed for the next day, all that stuff. That's another spoon or two. In the midst of things, say you're letting the dogs out and you have a crazy dog who requires a little bit of assistance to come back in the house, or, say you don't have a yard and you have to walk the dog. It's those things. It's spoon after spoon after spoon, and you're depleted. And that's if you start off, and probably in the negative. And that's if you start off with your full 10 spoons, right? What happens if you only start off because you were in the negative from the day before and didn't get enough sleep or rest? Because sleep and rest are 2 different things, very different things. But what happens if you don't refill that completely and you only start off the day with 6 spoons, right? And you still have to do all of those same tasks all over again. So you're literally starting off the day with not enough spoons to get through, and still all the things need to be done, right? You can hack it. You can figure it out a little bit. You can like half spoon it here and there, right? You can finagle it a little bit. But when you're doing it day after day after day after day, there's nothing left. And with no help, with no acknowledgement, with no what can I do? Like it's just, there's so much. And now add in a job. And the job itself takes up, I don't even know how many spoons, because you're working 30 to 40 hours. Like, that is a whole thing in itself. Even if you're just a part-timer, you're still responsible for other things outside of your home. And if you don't have that job anymore. But you can't quit the job because things cost an insane amount these days, right? That's just the general overview of the spoons theory, right? Today, I don't ever get a day off. Even when I have a day off, like a holiday or PTO or whatever, I still have things that I am responsible for. I cannot sleep in. I am responsible for people. I am responsible for pets. I am responsible for all the household stuff. I am responsible for my job, to my employer. And I have to do all these things. I had a really rough 24, 48 hours mentally, just dealing with some things, and literally just went to bed. I say went to bed. I worked until 2 a.m. Because, again, super blessed. I work from home and I can make my hours work around the time that I have available. And these days, I can't get much done during my workday because I have a teenager at home, a college student who, love that he's saving money by staying at home, but he's also a gamer, and his room is kitty corner from my office. And hearing him, and it's not his fault. I'm not mad at him. I'm just frustrated with the situation. He's home a lot. He does work and he does go to class, but sometimes, as with this particular class, he has an instructor who utilizes the like online work days and stuff like that, which means he's home, and as long as he gets his done during whatever time period is, allotted, it's great. So I don't have my normal quiet office hours that I've been used to for 10 years. My daytime hours are pretty much done. So instead, I utilize my daytime hours for all the running around, for all the things, for all the spoon things, right? And then I get a little bit of work done, and then my high schooler comes home, and then I have to handle her situation, the post-school thing, making sure she's fed, making sure she's got all her stuff all planned out for the evening, and then off to lacrosse practice or games, even because it's high school and it's girls. We do several weekday games, so those are some late nights. So we have that. And on top of that, there's just been this emotional and mental, I'm just going to call it what it is. It's an emotional and mental abusive situation between my daughter, lacrosse player, and her high school coaches. And it's really hard, and it's really taxing. And we just had another moment last night. And I couldn't deal. So we had that go on. And then I had to come home and work. So from, 9:30 until 2 a.m., I worked basically just so that I could give myself, sneak in like a day off situation today, which I was in the middle of, loving it, just feeling like I was resting. I was kind of drifting in and out. I took a conference call from my bed, never having even gotten out of bed yet, retainers still in, but still I was like, you know what, this is great. I'm still doing things, being productive, but also giving myself the rest that I needed. After that, kind of dozed off again. Fortunately, it's so rare, absolutely the rarest thing. I hear my college student feed and let my dogs out for the morning. So that was one mental thing that I was like, ooh, great. This really is allowing me to stay in bed and just, rest, take time, and not be responsible for anything or anyone that needs me. And then after my conference call, down the stairs, I hear, my son come down and ask me to help him fill out this one direct deposit form, because he is starting his co-oping program, and because he's going to school for accounting and business management, and he needed help reading his direct deposit form so that he could get paid. And I couldn't show that I was frustrated, because it's not his fault. But in my mind, I'm like, you're literally going to school for this. You should be able to read this form and understand what it is asking you and be able to complete it without needing my guidance. However, it's been a long time since I have filled out one of those forms. So and I know things change, and I know he's wanting to do things just right. And he is one of those people who learns really well when he's explained the why. So if there's a question on paperwork, I like to tell him, this is how I'm reading it. This is how you should be understanding it. This is your why. So that way he doesn't have this question going forward. And especially if he's going to be advising other people on how to do this sort of thing, he can go into it feeling really confidently. So that means that I had to get out of bed and end my one time that I was just trying to give myself a day off. And I was like, you know what? It's fine. And at this point, I guess I should clarify, at this point, I did not go up, get myself out of bed and get ready and do all of my things until, let's see, Duncan said I picked up my coffee at 1:13 p.m. So it was probably 12:30 by the time I went upstairs. Because again, I worked until after 2 a.m. Then I came downstairs, and as much as I wanted to just flop into bed, I did my evening routine, put my retainers in, did all those things. So it was probably, I don't even know. Oh, and I refilled my water and whatever. It was probably, 2:30 by the time I actually got into bed and was able to go to sleep. So I was just enjoying the time, dozing in and out, letting my battery recharge. But it's that kind of thing. I cannot even give myself, or not give myself. Yeah, give myself. I can't give myself a day off. Even if I want to. This is why I can't be sick. I had that horrendous sinus thing that had been sweeping through the Midwest and was literally, knocked me on my ass for at least 10 days. It was brutal. It was pretty bad. And I still I can't stop. I am never given the opportunity to rest. Part of this is because my bedroom is not really a bedroom. Downstairs, because of the layout of our house and having 2 teenagers and me working from home and all this stuff, my husband decided that it would be a good idea to turn our family room downstairs into our bedroom so that my daughter could get out of our smallest bedroom and into we kind of have 2 same size bedrooms, so one, they're kind of master bedroom sizes. Neither are an ensuite. So he's like, let's move our stuff downstairs. Then, our daughter gets one room, our son gets the other, and your office can be upstairs. You can have an actual dedicated office space, which it used to just be downstairs in the family room in the opposite corner of the traditional living room layout thing. Which means that my bed is directly under our kitchen and dining room. And we have hardwood floors. So the minute that anybody is awake, or the dogs are running around, or anything is happening upstairs, it sounds like elephants above me. And I'm not a light sleeper, but my husband paces around. He is not a quiet person. My kids, when they do come out of their rooms, are, in and out of the fridge, slamming cupboards, doing all the things, riling up the dogs. Dogs are skittering around, all that stuff. There's no rest. So when I am feeling sick, I can't even just stay in bed because my husband watches TV down there. He doesn't use the living room. It's not quiet. There's no quiet space in my house for me anywhere. Not even my office, because when people are home, I'm sharing walls with people who have headsets on and don't hear how loud they're being. So I have to then put on my noise canceling headphones in order to, do my stuff, which again, it's a solution to a problem, but there's no place for me to rest. Since I have had people in my house consistently. It's very rare for me to be the only one in my home. Just with, people growing up and no longer having everybody in school and at work at the same time, and me having that time in an empty home to do the cleaning, to do all this stuff. So I just, it comes back to the spoons. I just start with negative spoons and still have to do all the stuff. And I'm falling apart at the seams. And it is just so tough. And I just wish, I truly wish that there was a way for me to just tap out, check out for a minute, give me a day, give me a weekend. How do you do that without hurting someone's feelings? Be like, hey, I need a hotel for myself for a weekend where I'm not responsible for anyone or anything, because I need to be able to sleep and wake up whenever the hell I feel like it. I need to be able to recharge. I don't know how to say that, because I'm such a, and this is all of the whole, generational trauma and whatever, but I'm such a giver, and my instinct is to make everybody else's lives easier and more convenient around me at the expense of anything of my own. So when somebody else is sick, don't worry, I got this. Let me take everything off of your plate. You rest. I'll handle it. I'll give you all the things. I'll provide. I'll do the things for you. But my God, like who, and I hate to say it, but like who does that for me? Whoever just goes, hey, looks like you're really struggling. What can I do? What can I take off your plate? How can I help you rest? What do you need? Like, is it supposed to be reciprocal? Like, am I doing this? Am I acting in ways that's detrimental to my health, that goes unacknowledged? For what? Like, what am I doing it for? How do I untrain myself to be so much like that? I don't know. Is it a thing? Can it be done? Is it normal? Do we all feel like this? It's just a lot. So cheers.